Yeah.
Pureness. Where did that come from?
That came from high school. It was like, I guess girls just taunting me because I always used to be like, oh, you have to do this in life, and in life I'm going to do this. And they're like, okay, Miss Pureness.
Oh.
That's where it came from.
Okay. And you're from Toronto?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I am.
So where did you go to school? Like what part of town?
I went in the East.
Okay.
Yeah. And yeah, actually, it was a great experience. I can't even say anything bad about any of my school experiences. It was fun. But yeah, I definitely got taunted for that.
So welcome to the studio.
Hey.
Elizabeth, aka Pureness.
Right? I'm glad to be here. Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you.
StartWell, you know, we're definitely like a place where entrepreneurs of all different types, you know, share their stories, but also come and like do cool things and collaborate with each other and stuff.
I love that.
And yeah, it's pretty cool. And so it's really exciting for me to sit down with entrepreneurs, particularly who are not in tech, because we do a lot of tech and startup stuff.
I was watching that.
Yeah, you've seen some of the stuff?
Yeah. I'm still intrigued, but yeah, no, I'm glad to be part of the space as well.
Well, I would love to hear kind of about the work that you do, and it also as a business, and you as an entrepreneur kind of pursuing your work as a business. So let's get started with a little introduction. I'd like you to introduce yourself.
Oh, should I?
Yes.
Okay. Well, as you said, Elizabeth, but aka Pureness. I was saying earlier, I barely even remember my real name because I've been called Pureness for so long. It's just my business name. It's become my tagline and everything about me. So yeah, as known as Pureness, I'm a makeup artist, celebrity makeup artist now. And I've been doing it for so many years that it's kind of telling my age. So it's been a great journey though. And I started off from really humble beginnings in terms of artistry. Really kind
Like
of just
teaching yourself stuff is what you mean.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. Self-taught, trying to figure out what was going on in the industry and who to connect with and who not to connect with.
Right.
And yeah, from there I got the right footing and I really turned it into a business and I took it very seriously early on, and I think that helped leverage me later on. So
It's a tough one because it's an industry based off of relationships, right?
absolutely. Absolutely.
So at what point in that journey did you find yourself kind of like really gelling with your network? And also you mentioned like who not to talk to or not to hang out with.
Yeah.
If there's anecdotes in there, like how do you find direction and stick with it to...
It's not easy. And of course, earlier on, it's easier to be caught by those people or groups that really have no good intentions for you. So it's easier to get lost in the sauce, if you will. But now, being more seasoned, those people don't even approach anymore because they know that there's a structure there that they can't break down. So it's not as bad. But there are people out there, and I've always told artists, be careful. Be careful of who you entrust your time and energies and products and talents to, because you can get used out here. So, but with that said, there are great sides to the business as well. So that's what you just have to grab onto.
So, okay, so at what point in your career were you locked in saying, this is my life, this is what I'm doing? I was, you know, I'm an expert, like a master at my craft.
It's funny. I think I started saying that to myself a little too early, but that
gave you the confidence
for me.
to do it?
Yes, it made it work because, you know, I guess like some people would say, you know, like the rapper, he's his own hype man.
Yeah, that's
so
a good
I had
point.
to be that for myself, and I was.
I think all entrepreneurs have to be that.
I think we all should be.
You have to drink your own Kool-Aid, right?
Absolutely,
but you got to stay realistic about.
Gotta be real. You gotta be real. To be honest, I think I was tooting my own horn, but no, honestly, people were telling me how great I was and how well I would do here and even in other countries. Okay. So I started realizing, okay, well, maybe I should really take this seriously, and that was very early on. That was probably a year or two into it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So when did you get started? Was this after school? Did you go to school for this? Or
technically didn't go to school for this. I went to school for everything, but I was definitely in the corporate world.
Oh,
I was
really?
working for the government. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So I was doing that and slowly started saving up for my kid. I had people, you know, that were singing that I knew and, you know, little shows and stuff like that, doing little music videos. And eventually one day somebody told me in the industry, you know what, you're really good. You should get paid for this. And the light bulb went on.
They're like, hey, this is something I can actually do?
Yeah.
Like, why should I be apologetic for it? It's not a hobby.
And that first time where I had to ask for money, I was like, oh, you know, am I allowed?
Yeah. Heart thumping. And it's like, how much should I ask for?
Is that okay? Is that okay? I asked. And they were like, yeah, sure. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's when it started. Yeah.
And you mentioned like so celebrities, but I guess performers, music artists particularly.
Exactly.
Tell me a little bit about that world and about kind of working with that world. Or customer base, let's say.
Yes, indeed. It can be amazing as long as you know what you're doing and, you're confident in yourself. Sometimes the industry will try to push at you. You just got to make sure you're standing strong.
Right.
But it's honestly really amazing. And when you have the talent there, the business sense and the mind behind it, you are good to go. And I've had, honestly, such a good track record with basically any client I've had. So not just celebrities, but anyone that I've come into contact with, because everything was in place and people are impressed and they really just keep carrying the name. And that's all I could ask for.
And it's a business that I'm assuming is personal referrals for the most part, right?
100%. I could do advertisements out the wazoo, but it will never do what referrals do for me.
Right.
Yeah.
We see that here on campus because this is just one of our studios, right? We have another building around the corner that
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and it's a film and photography studio.
Gotcha.
So it's like a 3,500 square foot space that's like huge ceilings and a big open white space with a curved wall. So typically it gets used for some music videos, a lot of fashion photography.
Yeah, the curved wall is,
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Because the infinite space lets creatives just do anything.
Anything. I love those spaces, honestly,
And through that lens, with seeing shoots every week, it's really interesting because the kind of like the hair, makeup, and other supports for talent. I see everyone like wheeling everything that they need for their job onto site.
Yes.
And with seeing that every day, it's interesting because this whole idea of mastery to me requires the tools of your trade to be yours.
Yes.
But there's a lot of legwork with this kind of business.
People are shocked.
And then also, it's interesting to me to consider how it scales as well. So how does your business work with working with other artists and bringing, like, let's say you get a gig for, you got to do hair and makeup for a music video or makeup for a music video.
Right.
And you've got like 5 artists going on camera.
Do you mean the artists or artists like myself, makeup artists?
Like yourself. Like,
okay.
Yeah.
That is where I think the business gets the most sticky, unfortunately, because it gets a little catty. People are fighting for the top spot. And in that sense, we're not working together anymore. We're working against each other, and I've tried to help facilitate that in the background and let people know when I come on set, it's not competition. We're here to work. So that does help in my spaces. But in general, it's still unfortunately a little bit of a toxic space to be in sometimes.
So does that mean that like typically if more than one makeup artist are required for a project, then they're not hired together or you're not asked to
most of the
build a team?
Most of the time they're hired individually. Yeah, there are teams out there, but more than not, it's normally individuals. With the space and how we all work together, it can be amazing and teams can be great. But even within teams, there can be that fight for the top spot. So, it is what it is. And we just, got to work with it the best we can.
And so how does, I'm always intrigued by this, right? For like kind of gig work in the sense that is it gig work in the sense that like gigs come at you, like projects come at you, and you have to be a bit agile to like respond. Like how do you manage your schedule and like how rapidly are leads coming in for different projects?
People have said that. They say, I don't understand how you do it, Pureness. You're always by the phone. You're always responding. And I think that's what made me that way was because I knew when something came out, there were going to be 5,000 other people responding. So I've got to get somewhere close to the top and then stand out with whatever it is I'm presenting to them. So, whether it be competitive pricing, really good services, telling them that I'm very sanitary, telling them, that here's my talent, here are all these pictures and videos you can see, and that I'm versatile with race and age, then I've got my shoe in. But still, getting to the top of that list is a bit better because they're not going to go through all of those 5,000 names. So, yeah, you got to be quick.
Yeah, I can imagine. Because also, like, for at least from our lens for like on-camera stuff, projects come together very last minute. I don't know how they do it.
That's
It's like you even if they're corporate gigs and it's like a fashion shoot for a brand, they know they have to do their like seasonal shoots, but they don't organize it until like a week before.
I've never understood that. It hurts my feelings in my heart.
It's crazy.
I'm like, come on, you guys did this whole thing and you just figured out you need a makeup artist a week before.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, even talent, right? They'll get like models the week before.
That too. And then they'll still be trying to figure out, okay, so do you have availability? Okay, hold on. We're going to ask the other people if they're available. I'm like, oh, come on, guys. We should have known this already. But yeah, it's always last minute. It's always rush.
So let's talk about this. One thing you mentioned, which is interesting to me, and especially being here in Toronto with our diversity in the city being per capita, maybe the most diverse city in the world.
Totally.
Right? Totally. Working with different skin tones, working with different looks. How is that something unique to Toronto? Is it unique to Toronto? Is the diversity that you've worked with because of what's in front of you, or something that you've pursued?
It is unique in Toronto, I will say. There are some other cities I've touched on that have that as well. Parts in the U.S. as well. There are, markets there. But honestly, it's made it better for my business. So I definitely am happy I started here, because had I started somewhere where there was only one or two, skin tones to work with, I would only know those one or two skin tones. And now I know everything. So I can go anywhere and do what I need to do. So I'm so happy I had that start off to work with.
So are the projects you work on mainly in Toronto, or it sounds like you said international?
I'm everywhere.
Okay, give me some anecdotes. Craziest gig.
Oh my gosh.
Craziest place that you've been to do your work.
Craziest place. You know what's so funny? Craziest place doesn't come to mind. I'm thinking sometimes I'm doing makeup in the bushes. I mean,
okay.
I've done it on the beach. Okay, that sounds bad, but I've done it on the beach. And where else? I don't know. I've done it at the beginning of movie theaters, like the front.
Okay.
And bring my ring light and, and good to go. And I've been to so many different spots. I can't even think of all of them, but,
So international gigs.
Internationally, I have done the Bahamas. I have done Cancun. I have done a whole bunch of the United States, the UK, and a lot of Canada.
And that's, give me the range of different kind of like, I guess, what do people need your services
need them for?
Is it personal as well as commercial
there
stuff?
There is a lot of personal. That's more my filler. And I would say like I could get great music videos, great artists, events, all that stuff. But it's still going to be those individual bookings that come in that honestly leverage the business.
It's funny because we had a photographer in, a friend of ours named Ryan, and he's this amazing photographer. And there was something that he released recently, which was some photos from his, and I used to live in Kenya, so I love anything about Kenya. But like, he released some photos of a trip that he did for, I think it was a UN mission with Selena Gomez. And just because the documentary just came out, and so he posted that just to say, hey, like looking fondly on these times together, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And then I looked at it and I posted, comments with elephants saying, I miss Kenya. I was oblivious to
to what was actually.
Yeah, I was like, Selena, who?
What? Okay.
But he was saying this when he was in this studio a few months ago, talking about the life of a photographer. He was like, I can go on these crazy trips. I can work with the United Nations. I can work with celebrities. I can do big commercial projects. Like he's shot, I think it was Fendi or Chanel. He shot a collection. But he was like, I can't wait for those gigs to come in. Yeah. So my cash flow comes from doing what I do.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'm a photographer first.
Yes.
And it's funny because the people who sit outside of that work might throw stones, or people ask him all the time, why are you doing weddings, Ryan?
Right?
Why are you doing weddings?
I get that too.
And he's like, I get to spend the day with happy people. And they're celebrating, and that's fun. And I can catch so many moments on camera. And so he was like, not only is it a necessity to like have the cash flow come out of that work, but it's fulfilling as well, and it shouldn't be stigmatized.
It shouldn't be at all. And lots of people say, oh, well, only do celebrity work, only do this. I'm like, okay, that's awesome. That can be stressful. And I'd like to have that variety, to be honest with you. When one thing is just tiring me out, I have the other thing to go to. So I'm all over the place and I don't get tired out of one category, if you will. So I'm happy with it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as a kind of a solopreneur, like you're doing your own thing, what are the toughest aspects, do you think, that you've lived through of fighting your fight?
Honestly, this is going to seem silly.
Yeah.
My paperwork, I hate it.
Paperwork? Who doesn't hate paperwork?
As soon as I have to sit down for invoices, I start having heart convulsions. Like, I don't even know how to feel. But yeah, you know, I deal with customers really well. All of that stuff, for me, it's natural. It just flows.
Yeah.
But when I have to sit down and do the office work, if you will, that's when I start getting a little antsy, a little frustrated. But it's part of the work. So.
And are there any projects that you're working on that are like for your own, that are aside from client, gigs?
There are. I mean, other than sitting down here with you today, I have been now on my own journey. So it's been a hard juggle. I'm not going to lie to you, trying to do the business and put myself out there. But now, because of my life journey and my weight loss journey also, I've been getting attention. So now I've got to kind of shift focus into myself. So I've been getting interviews and things of that nature, and publications and things like that coming out. So there's a bit more traveling that may be coming in, and we'll see what happens. But I'm ready to take this in its own path.
Wait, so tell me a little bit about this.
Yeah.
Because I don't know much about this.
Okay.
So the weight loss journey story. What's the snapshot here? What are you becoming famous for? That's not just
right. That's not just makeup.
Yeah.
Who knew? Well, apparently, during the pandemic, or a little bit before the pandemic, I was trying to take care of my health, but I wasn't focusing properly, and again, always kind of pushing back into the business, using it as an excuse, to be quite honest.
Right.
But with that said, pandemic happened. I slowed down, and I was like, you know what? There's no excuse. I had a lot of health issues that were going on.
Okay.
And instead of just going to the doctor every day, which I didn't feel comfortable doing during the pandemic, so I was like, let me start researching.
And they weren't even working.
There you go.
Like, at least not in clinic.
Not like that.
So
Exactly.
Like
it was like
doing
virtual.
telemedicine.
Yeah, there was telemedicine. That's right. That's right.
My wife's a doctor, and even she was frustrated with that,
Really?
like not being able to see patients.
Yeah, it's just weird. You're not used to that. But yeah, I started researching about my health, and then kind of started stumbling upon things that I should be doing that would also help weight loss. And then I started my weight loss journey, and now I've lost almost 250 pounds. So
wait, sorry, how much?
Almost 250.
What?
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's an amazing accomplishment, right?
I never thought I could do that at all.
Was it something that, because it's such a large amount that like, in the sense that
what?
Well, it's one of those things, like I think, I don't know what the example was. I was in the gym this morning, and there was something that came up I was talking to my trainer about. And it was one of those things. Oh yeah, it was like I bought a watch that I need to like send in for a repair. Okay. And so it became this metaphor. We started talking about things that you need to do, but like you put them because it's not. It feels like it's not immediately important, so you put it off, and they can be something that's so like your health.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And it can snowball.
Yeah, it snowballs.
So what was the catalyst for you? In the like pandemic hits and you're like, I need to do something about this. Like what?
It was basically that, the health and all that. And then I just had the aha moment, like I have no excuse. Like every single excuse I've used is exhausted at this point, and I'm sitting here doing nothing. So let me just try. Let me just see what happens. And after I found a couple things and realized I was ketoing and whatnot, and it was working, and I was like, I am not going to stop. No matter what it is, I don't have a goal, I don't have a number, I'm just not going to stop, whatever it is that I'm going to do. And it worked. Like it just kept going, and the weight was just dropping, and I was getting more energetic, and now I was able to work out the way I hadn't been in years. And
so diet?
Yep. Diet was definitely first.
All lifestyle stuff, like diet, sleep?
Yep. Even just checking myself mentally, and making sure that everything was, clicking there. And honestly, it was like a no-brainer. I was like, wait, a healthy diet and working out can actually make you lose weight. Who knew?
Right.
But yeah, it was that simple, and it just fell off.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. And so diet-wise, let's dig into that. Like what did you, how did you change your diet?
It was so different because I was eating all the things, all the, Chinese buffets and pizzas and McDonald's, all the fast food, and a lot of it. A lot of it. I said this on another show as well. I realized I would, do a takeout. It would cost $30 and I could put some in the fridge for tomorrow. And now I was paying like $60 and I was still hungry. And I was like, whoa, I have a problem. So yeah, I definitely cut down portion size. That's the biggest thing.
Right.
And yeah, I took care of like my healthy fats and all that good stuff. And I got rid of carbs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who needs carbs?
Yeah. Right. It was so good though.
Once in a while. Once in a while.
Once in a while. Cheat days.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
It's so funny. Like, yeah, diet. I mean, so again, going back to like my wife's work, she's a lifestyle medicine doctor, and this is the whole thing. This is what it's about.
Okay.
Right? It's all about like lifestyle factors that's like inhibiting people's health and quality of life, right? It's a major thing that we don't think about, especially in North America. Like, it's funny because like I know this is like tin hat, social critique, but like everywhere you go in the city, there is advertising. Yeah. Everything being advertised to you, is being sold to you and has a profit mandate behind it, which inevitably means, you mentioned fast food.
Yep.
Costs have to be low, margins have to be high, and volumes have to be as high as they can. They're pumping crap into their customers' blood.
Whatever fillers they can.
And then, and it feels like it's all that's in front of you. Once you get used to it, this is the only food option. That's the only food option. These are my options.
I felt that way. Yeah. I think a lot of us did.
And then was part of this also kind of like taking a bit more onus to cook and then choose what you're eating?
Yeah, and I think almost pandemic made it impossible to really do a lot of those things. Or, you could do it, but it wouldn't be as safe. You wouldn't feel as safe. So, yeah, I got rid of takeout altogether. The drive-through was not a thing. So, yeah, definitely was cooking and getting those veggies. And, grocery store, I would just get lump sums of things instead of going for one little thing. And letting them rot in the fridge, right? Pretending as if I was going to do this thing. But no, I got really serious. So, yeah.
And it's quite an incredible story in terms of the commitment that it takes to be able to like stick with it and know that you've changed your life forever.
Everyone keeps saying that. How did you get the determination? I don't know. I mean, I guess it's just in you and something just clicks and it's right. I really don't know what that thing was, what that fuel was.
Yeah, I mean, like in a way, it should feel the same as getting a job in a new sector or moving to a different country.
Right.
Right. It's like you're on a different path. Yeah, that's okay. That's part of life.
Yep.
And then you do it.
And then
it's who you are.
Yeah.
You work out, you eat well, and now that's what you do every week. Yeah. And this is your new routine.
And that's the lifestyle change, and that's it. Yeah, this is just what I do for life. They're like, when are you going to stop? I'm not going to stop.
Yeah, exactly.
Where was there supposed to be a finish line? Okay. Yeah. I'll stop when I'm in the ground, I guess. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Thank you.
The perseverance as well through the pandemic, just in terms of your work, must have been difficult. Was it difficult to find gigs? Were things kind of on pause a lot?
Yeah, it was really... it got scary at one point, and I remember having thoughts, what if people forget me? Yeah. What if I no longer am a thing? I mean, people are learning online how to do makeup now. Now they're doing their own hair and nails at home.
Right, TikTok.
They won't need me anymore. Yeah, TikTok's out there. They've got YouTube videos to watch. They don't need me. And right when the first lockdown kind of eased up, it was still kind of ghost town. And then after the second one or so eased up, everybody on the face of the planet called me. And I was like, okay. This is going to be overwhelming. Yeah. I didn't know what to do with myself, but I was happy they still remembered me, literally. Yeah.
Such a weird experience. It was so crazy, like, to just have everyone disappear, be very insular, and everyone was feeling the same way, but it was like, we can't just all be digital instantly.
Exactly.
And replace, like, conversations.
As if we were born this way. Like, no.
Oh my God. I hate Zoom, man. I think it's terrible. Like,
I was okay with it a couple times, and then I was like, yeah, this is it for me. I'm done. I don't want to Zoom anymore.
I, like, since the beginning of the pandemic, would be on calls with people, and I'm like, let's just have a phone call. And they're like, but why? We can do video. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but I don't want to look at you through a video camera. Like, I've been Skyping, since Skype had video, which was like 2000 or 2001.
Early, yeah.
So I'm like, this is not new to me.
Yeah.
And it's not, because of that, it's not cool. Like, it's let's just talk. I can hear your voice. That's good.
So funny. Or people that go on Zoom, but then they have a profile picture, so you're still just using your voice anywhere else. We could have just called each other.
Okay, while we're talking about this, I do have one gripe with Zoom and all these platforms. That is the fake background.
Oh, it's terrible.
Well,
I'm sorry.
It's so obviously fake. And
and when you move, it's...
Or you're on a call and then there's 3 people with the same background. And I'm like... It's okay. You can show us your bedroom, man.
We know there's a little mess on the bed. It's okay.
So for all that to be ending and people to be like getting back to like hanging out and doing projects, and that must be so amazing.
So refreshing. I was, unfortunately, I mean, I know we were supposed to be social distancing, but I was hugging everybody. It's like, I miss people. Yeah. You know? Yeah.
And then so the personal and the work life kind of... Now, do you feel like there's a gel in your life? Everything kind of flows better?
It flows together, but schedules do not. I'm going to be quite honest and quite frank. It's difficult trying to figure out, like, now they'll be like, okay, come do some makeup. And then right after I have an interview to do. And I'm like, well, now I have makeup all over me. Now I got to go get changed. I'm in public washrooms changing, rushing to the next place. So it's been interesting. Yeah, it's very busy. Very busy.
So have you been thinking about the scale idea? Like, are you... What does that mean even in your work? Like,
I have thought of even just scaling back in a sense, but honestly, because of how pandemic treated the business, I was like, it's not time yet. But there's also things I'm thinking of broadening in my branding in terms of selling products and doing things like that that will take over some of those hours that I have to put in. So
cool.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah. I'm excited.
Wow. Yeah. So have you been prototyping stuff?
Yes.
You're working on products?
Yeah, I'm working with labs right now. So
that's exciting.
I'm super excited.
Oh my God. Okay, so we're definitely going to do a little follow-up.
Ooh, I can't wait. I would love to do that. I'm planning to do some roundtables on the industry of kind of like fashion, beauty. So I'll include you in that. And I think we can have some interesting conversations. Okay, I'm loving this. Yeah, nice. Thank you.
Well, it was amazing to spend some time chatting.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited. This was awesome.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
If people want to reach out about your craft, you know, or your journey, where would you send them? What are the main ways to contact you?
So the main way, I always go back to my own portal, www.facesbypureness.com. And then, of course, Instagram is my next baby, and it's at Faces by Pureness. And pretty much everything, social media, everything online is Faces by Pureness.
Cool.
Yeah.
And then let's end on a question, okay?
Okay.
So the question is, what advice would you give to other people, younger people, maybe coming out of school or otherwise, facing this question that you were presented with, which is, you know, they love this work, they love makeup, they love, you know, aesthetics, but it seems to be everywhere these days, you know, and they want to get involved in this work. Any advice?
I have to say, and I just spoke to someone last night about this, go back old school. And I feel like it will never do you wrong. I was in laundromats posting my posters. I was talking to people. I was at events. I was doing weddings. I would attend weddings and then, you know, advertise my stuff. I would go up to people and hand out my business cards. I went to stores. I put my business cards in there. And eventually people started recognizing my imagery, and it was starting to embed into their minds, and my reach started to grow. Honestly, I know social media is an amazing thing, but I feel like it should be a backup plan and a thing that helps give that solidification. So when they go to your website, they're like, oh, this is her work, you know? But in terms of just sitting there and thinking that I'm just going to post a lot, that can do some things, but I'm telling you, that person-to-person connection is amazing. It will never fail.
Advice.
Yeah.
It's great advice.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, thank you for that.
No problem.
Awesome.
Thank you. Awesome. Yay.
That was good.